You guys, you should know by now, or at least some of you do know if you stuck around. Honestly, I'm just gonna assume nobody knows because, like, who's stuck around? Like, who's really here from like back when I started Lensbins in 2020? Who's here? Nobody? Me, Lynn of Lensbins. But I'm happy for the people who do watch though. But it started off as a podcast. And just recently, within the past year, I started doing videos. And I've been trying to stay consistent with those lately. So, but I did just start school again last week. And yeah, I've just been going through a lot, looking for a job. All summer long, I haven't been able to find a job. It's just been ridiculous out here. Like, I'm actually about to watch a YouTube video about Biden's lies about the job market out here and how they were exposed at the DNC. So I'm looking forward to that. The very anti-Palestinian DNC is just fucking ridiculous. But so I want to talk about a racial incident that pertains to the Black community. It's a Black and white issue in particular. It pertains to the Black American, foundational American community in particular, of which I'm a part. I am taking a multiculturalism class in my major, criminology and criminal justice, at my predominantly white institution. It's Jesuit Catholic institution in the Midwest, and one of the more prominent ones. And I mean, it's top tier or anything like that, but it's a very nice school. Um, Subjectively, objectively, it's a very nice school subjectively. But objectively, there are things that can be measured when it comes to schools and things like that. Objectively, of course, is a nice school as well. So objectively, and even in a lot of cases, subjectively, it is a good school. But anyway, um, as with most predominantly white institutions, they do not take racism, in most places in general. They don't take racism seriously. They don't take anti-blackness in particular seriously. So I was in class the second day, yeah, Friday last week, and we have this class on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And the professor had us do these like bias tests where we basically gauge, what our biases are. You have like, R is for Black people and O is for white people on your keyboard, and you gotta, every time you see a weapon on the screen or an object, it could be a safe item or a weapon, and it could be a book bag or a gun or a knife or a yo-yo, and you've got to associate the good stuff with the good people, and the bad stuff with the bad people. So they tell you that, okay, associate the bad stuff with the white people, then they tell you to associate it with the Black people, and the way that it's set up, it's basically like a memorization game. So it's not really going to profoundly find some like innate or implicit biases that you have if you know enough about the test. And even if you don't know enough about the test, it still couldn't show that. It could, and it's more prone to in that case, but like it still couldn't. Because like in my case, I have a great memory, but when I'm off, I'm off. So like, I had like a whole streak where I just kept like fucking up over and over again. And it's like I knew I was pressing the wrong thing as I pressed it, but like it was too late. And it was because they kept switching the things back and forth. So like it would start off with like R is for Black people and O is for white people, but then you would switch it. And it's like, okay, so if I just sat here for 30 seconds associating the letter R with Black people, then how do you expect me in the same round of this test game thing to immediately switch over to identifying them with the opposing letter of the two and switching the roles? It's just ridiculous. So I just felt like it was silly. So I spoke to that in class, and I spoke to how it didn't call out my implicit bias, or at least explicit bias, which I guess I mean, it could, but like it was supposed to be an implicit bias test. So, there's that. But like I spoke about how it did not call out the bias that I know I have with white people. In particular, against white people, because I have developed it over the course of the time that I've been at this institution, because bitches ain't shit. Like, bitches ain't shit. Like, it's some trashy ass fucking trailer trash ass, scrub dubbed ass motherfuckers, dusty ass crows up in this bitch. And it's just a mess. Like, it's like, they really think that, I mean, they really try to test your gangster every day. They really try to, like, throw you off your game and, like, you know, what's the phrase I'm looking for? They try to, like, run game on your ass. And, you know, play little, it's a better phrase that I'm looking for, but play little games of, like, trying to get you caught up, or get you, like, confused about something, or trying to get you, those little girls in school when you was, you looked really, y'all see how I look. You know what I'm saying? I don't have surgery. I've never had, baby, baby. Now, I mean, I would hope that you all don't think ever had knee surgery. I mean, maybe I don't hope that. I mean, maybe that means I look great. So, whatever. But I have lived a very broke life, and I almost want to break down, like, right now, just revealing this to you guys. But like, I'm going to be 30 years old in a couple months. It's July, it's August, in a couple months. Less than a couple months, really in a month and some change. I'm going to be 30. I have never in my adult life, aside from apartments and houses in my name, had anything to my name of monetary value. Nothing. I have not, the biggest thing that I've owned, the grandest thing that I've owned, aside from my houses, my apartments, of which I don't have anymore. This place on campus is where I live now. Um, the most I've had is like a bicycle that cost like 200 something dollars or something. Maybe it might have been one something, and I think it was 205 though. And then what was the other thing? Or something else I was thinking about. I had my $300 studio equipment that I bought, but aside from that, there was one more thing. Oh, my car. Duh. I had it for 2 seconds, so that's why I forgot about it so easily. But I had a red Chevy Cavalier, and I was getting it financed, and or it was being financed to me, and by my ex's stepdad. I spoke about this in, I think it's my most recent video about getting with this white supremacist, and not knowing that the guy who I knew when I was a kid was going to grow up to be a white supremacist, and having people in my comment section judging me and basically saying, "Oh, it was cool that he was a white supremacist until she till it affected her. Then all of a sudden it became a problem." And I'm just sitting here like, "Bitch, when did I include that in any part of my story?" But people will run with whatever narrative they want to tell themselves, that makes them, that reaffirms their biases, and makes them feel a certain way, and this, that, and the third. So whatever, reaffirms their agenda. But the the I was talking about the ex, and just how I never really, excuse me, you guys. I never really had anything to my name. I never really had anything of value. I have lived a very lesser means life. Like, I lived a life of little means. I've, basically been a monk, but like a trashy and like trashy, fabulous, like um non-practicing monk, spiritual monk. But like, really, because like, it is what it is. But I bring that up just to say that I don't have surgery. I don't have. I've never gotten any surgery done. But like, I've always you guys see how I look. I've always been a very well. I haven't always been come off this attractive, but like I know how to put myself together now. But like, and it does take a little something. I know it don't look like. I mean, it might look like it to you guys, but like I don't have much on. Like, yes, I am a black girl who doesn't have much eyebrowage, so I do draw my eyebrows. But all I do is eyeliner and lipstick. That's it. That's literally it. I have nothing on my face. Nothing on my face. No, what do you call it? No foundation or eyeshadow or anything like that. But no contour, primer, all that good stuff. So I think I'm doing pretty good for almost 30. But people get jealous, people get whatever. They want to do stuff which they want to be rude with you and act weird with you. But basically I was trying to evoke in your mind an image of, or evoke an image of, that girl who is in everybody's face and everybody's business on the bus on the way to school or on the way home from school, who's in elementary school, high school, who's always trying to flame somebody and, always got something to say and the class clown basically. And what do you call it? You just existing is a problem for them. And you know, they have all these things to say about you. They got all these things they want to make you, they want to intimidate you. It's not just they want to talk about you, they want to intimidate you. They want you to prove that you are lesser than, you know? And it's really fucked up because it's like people be really pressed out here. Like they really be pressed. And it's like after you did all of that, I'm still gonna look this way. You know what I'm saying? So that's when bitches want to get out the knives and shit and the razors. But girl, the razors was big back in my day. But you know, it's just crazy because it's just like, nobody wants my life. You know what I'm saying? You don't want my life. You may think you want my life. You don't want my life. I go through hell every day, and you all are part of the reason that you don't want my life. You all are part of the reason that you don't want my life because y'all talk so much mad shit on me. It's not even funny. Like, bitches give me such a problem. It's not even funny. And when I complain about it, then people immediately want to associate the problem with me and say, oh, well, maybe it's you. Maybe you're this. Maybe you're that. Then when you look at me, and especially when you know that I'm trans, you realize, oh, well, you think of me as just some eccentric, whatever, who, of course you're going to have problems. Of course you're this, that, and the third. And it's like, you guys are some nasty pieces of work. You know what I'm saying? But, like somebody deserves to be, going through, being put through hell. And they over here trying to better themselves and live their life. Like, no matter what you think about me being who I am, you cannot deny that a woman who's taught herself how to sing, taught herself how to sing in 8 languages, taught herself, how to do all this, got herself into college, is, pursuing her Juris Doctor, first semester on honor society, Dean's honor list. You can't sit here and say, one, that I'm dumb, and you can't say that I'm fucking confused because you would be more confused than me just trying to come up with an APA style reference page. You know what I'm saying? For some research you ain't even done because you don't know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? Bitches don't know how to do proper research. But It's just ridiculous. And that's what I'm learning here in college. But it's just ridiculous because it's just like, although I came in with some pretty great knowledge already because I come from a different era than a lot of these kids out here who are using AI to produce their work. We have written into the syllabus that Chat GPT is going to be available for use for school projects and papers. It's not going to be available to write your paper, and they will, you could get kicked out of school if it goes that far. But like, I feel like what's the difference? Like, obviously, there's a major difference between AI writing up a whole paper for you and then you just looking up things with AI to understand them better, which is what is okay and allowed, But like, I just feel like it's weird because it's just like, okay, so like, we don't even have to really do no research no more. Like, if you can go and you can look up the answer to everything you need in 2 seconds, what do you need it for? In your research job, in your um, legal position, me trying to be an attorney, all these other things. There's GPT for lawyers now, apparently. I saw some stuff about that. You know what I'm saying? Don't quote me on that, but like I saw some stuff spreading around the internet about GPT for lawyers. So I'm just like, what? Like, I understand that it's not like, oh, the GPT is the lawyer. But like, how soon is it going to be before it is? We were saying that they weren't going to replace our jobs in 2019 when I was just so upset listening to these old people come into the stores every day talking about how, the jobs are going to be replaced with these self-checkout machines and all this other stuff, and they're getting rid of the workers. And I felt like there was some legitimacy to it, but like at the same time, I was just like, okay, whatever. You weigh that shit off. That was 2019. Next thing you know, COVID hit. And when we came up out of COVID, before we even came out of COVID, they had already revamped things like Amazon's to where there's no one working anywhere in the Amazon store except maybe in the back, stocking, unloading things at the dock. Like, it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are literally losing their jobs. Like, people are getting laid off in the biggest industry, Silicon Valley, uses and all this other stuff. That big tech industry that everybody was joining and like bragging about their jobs and all this other stuff. I've been watching video after video after video about how those jobs are just going down the tubes and how people are like not able to get hired easily and all kinds of shit. So it's just crazy because it's just like, and they're like laying off massive amounts of people, and they're taking on massive amounts of AI and investing massive amounts into AI so that they can have AI do certain things that they don't need people to do and this, that, and the third. And it's just like, never listen to these bitch ass hoes. I don't know why I did. Never listen to these bitch ass hoes because they will never tell you the truth. Why would they tell you the truth? We grew up watching it in movies, you know? I think it was in Independence Day. It's in a lot of these like dystopian apocalyptic type movies where like, the world is going to shit and they don't tell you shit until it's like literally too late for you to do shit. But hold your loved ones maybe and wish them goodbye, Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing else to do. Like, they'll wait until the very last minute on that shit. And it's in movies because it's real. This shit happens in real life. Like, people wait until the last minute to do these types of things. And it's just so pissy because it's just like, I'm just done. Like, it's a lot going on out here, y'all. But anyway, to get back to the topic at hand, after I started talking about how I didn't, the faults with the test and everything, the bias test, I was like, I made a point to mention that I, did not, I spoke about my white privilege or my white bias and how I am biased against white people and in favor of others just because I have been treated so negatively by white people throughout my entire life. One of the reasons that I'm actually here getting my Juris Doctor so I can pursue law, or so I can, pursue reparations and other things in the field of law. But also, um, whatever, all of that. That's basically what I was talking about. And this white girl raises her hand and she basically speaks after me, immediately after me. And she's addressing me, but she tries to act like it's a hypothetical. But it's like it literally just speaks to what I just said. And she's like, but how? She basically asked me, how do I know, without asking me, how do I know that it's because I'm Black? Like, a lot of time people say stuff like this, but it could just be because people don't like you. Like, have you thought that people just don't like you? I may be adding a little spice onto that and nothing nice. I don't know. Call me Blossom. But, well, really call me Buttercup. But, like, I mean, I know the hair is red, baby, but green all day, green all day. But, what do you call it? Like, bitch, you was trying to read. You was trying to read. And while you're trying to call me biased, you showed your bias. And that's something that I spoke on today in class. And actually, the teacher spoke on it. I was supposed to be allowed to respond to that by the end of the last class, but we ran out of time. I spoke to the teacher after class and just told her what I was going to say. She was like, you know what, hold on to that. And today in class, she basically said the same thing, except I wanted to focus on Black Americans, Black foundational Americans. So I did add that little tidbit to it. And she kind of shut me down when I did that, but it's okay because I was just happy that she allowed me. One is okay because I still got it out. But two is just nice that she went through and she said that, without me even having to say anything. Now I did remind her to say it this today. I didn't think she was going to say it. I was going to say it, but I reminded her that I was wanting to say that, and I just asked her if I could have that 10 seconds to say that. And she but she did very well. She went on for like about 30 seconds to a minute about how, relating it to things like what I said. I related it to the Me Too movement and, all these other things. When we speak about these things, if I were a Muslim woman sitting here with a hijab on my head right now, you would not say, after I just told you that I go through anti-Muslim sentiments and anti-Arab sentiments, if I'm Arab, you wouldn't tell me that. If I was Palestinian, you wouldn't tell me that. If I was a white Jewish person, you wouldn't tell me that. If I were your ass, a white woman, you would not tell me that. As a Black transgender woman, you'd be mad as shit if I sat up here and I tried to tell you what about your experience as a white woman, as a woman. Because y'all already know we know how y'all feel about us. So I'm not even going to presume to be able to tell you that. But you all are so fucking indignant and entitled that you feel the freedom to be able to speak on our plight like this and devalue, demean, and devalue, and dismiss us. You know what I'm saying? Like, they do this all the time. Like, I've seen it done to Don Lemon's Coonation ass on CNN. I've seen it done countless times to so many different people who, all these people want to put us in our place and tell us what our plight is and how we need to understand our plight, our history, our experiences as a race and as a people and as just individuals who are Black. But nobody does that to anybody else. If an Asian woman says that she's experienced anti-Asian hate, she's experienced anti-Asian hate. Everybody's okay with that. They're okay with that being said and that being recognized. But when I say it, I have to go through loops and dupes and alley-oops. And she said that too. I was so happy she said what she said. She was like, we putting the onus on someone to have to explain this, that, and the third, and having to give evidence for all of these different things, when at the end of the day, this is not how we should be operating with people when they're being vulnerable and sharing their experiences. When someone's vulnerable and they share their experience, you should not be your automatic response should not be to question everything about that experience and the validity of it, and to demand evidence. You know what I'm saying? We're not in a court of law. We're having a conversation. You know what I'm saying? If you tell me that you were molested by your uncle, am I going to ask you for proof? No. I'm going to understand that that's your story. And I'm going to feel so horrible for you about that. But like, y'all just, you don't know how to separate it. You don't know how to separate, you know what I'm saying? So it's just ridiculous. And the last note that I ended on was, we don't, a lot of the time we don't, I actually work this into the lesson, but I meant to end on this note as well. We don't, a lot of the time we listen to respond instead of listening to understand. And when Black people speak, I feel like a lot of people listen to respond instead of listening to understand what we're saying. So, it is what it is. But I just wanted to bring you guys that because I thought that was very interesting. And it's the way that we're bringing in the new year. I feel like we're going strong. But it seems like I'm losing my voice. And I've had to strain these last, like, however many minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here. But I thank you. And I welcome you next time. We jump in, Liz.